The game that revealed everything wasn't played on any basketball court, but in a federal courtroom where family loyalty met the ultimate pressure test. When Sean "Diddy" Combs sat in the defendant's chair, watching his son take the witness stand against him, the stress became overwhelming in ways that shocked everyone present. The medical emergency that followed wasn't just a physical collapse. It was the moment when decades of alleged criminal empire operations came crashing down under the weight of a son's devastating testimony. But what could drive a young man to deliver evidence so damaging that it sent his own father into cardiac distress? What secrets had been hidden behind the glamorous facade of hip-hop success that finally demanded to be told? The courtroom drama that unfolded revealed how competitive intensity and family pressure can create breaking points that change everything forever. The real stress of federal courtrooms. Federal courtroom proceedings create intense psychological and physical pressure for defendants facing serious charges, particularly in high-profile cases that carry potential sentences of life imprisonment and involve complex family dynamics. The formal atmosphere of federal courts, combined with the gravity of RICO charges and the presence of multiple law enforcement agencies, creates stress levels that can affect defendants' physical health and emotional well-being throughout lengthy proceedings. Medical experts note that the combination of legal pressure, media attention, family conflicts, and potential loss of freedom can trigger serious health issues, including cardiovascular problems, anxiety attacks, and other stress-related medical emergencies. Federal courthouses maintain medical personnel and emergency response protocols specifically designed to address health emergencies that might occur during high-stress proceedings involving defendants facing severe potential sentences. Questions arise about how the stress of facing potential life imprisonment might affect defendants' physical health, and whether courtroom medical emergencies could interrupt or delay legal proceedings in high-profile cases. Justin Combs' potential testimony value. Justin Combs' position within his father's business empire and his presence during key time periods could potentially provide federal prosecutors with valuable insider information about enterprise operations, decision-making processes, and specific activities. His access to family communications, business meetings, and operational details might offer prosecutors insights into alleged criminal enterprise activities that outside witnesses could not provide about internal dynamics and organizational structure. The credibility of family member testimony often depends on corroborating evidence, documentation, and other witnesses that support accounts of criminal activities and enterprise operations, making such testimony particularly valuable when properly supported. Federal prosecutors typically evaluate potential witnesses based on their knowledge of criminal activities, their ability to provide detailed testimony, and their willingness to accept responsibility for their own involvement in alleged crimes. Sports analysts wonder whether the pressure of potentially testifying against a family member might create psychological stress similar to that experienced by athletes facing career-defining moments in high-stakes competitive situations. The psychology of extreme pressure situations. High-pressure situations involving family loyalty conflicts and potential criminal liability create psychological stress that can manifest in physical symptoms including cardiovascular problems, panic attacks, and other serious health issues. Research on stress responses shows that individuals facing potential loss of freedom, family relationships, and personal identity often experience fight-or-flight responses that can overwhelm their cardiovascular and nervous systems. The intersection of legal pressure, family betrayal, and public scrutiny creates a perfect storm of stress factors that can push individuals beyond their physical and emotional limits, particularly when proceedings involve life-changing consequences. Federal court proceedings often include mental health and medical support resources for defendants who experience extreme stress during emotionally challenging testimony or verdict announcements that affect their entire future. The competitive nature of legal proceedings, where winning and losing have permanent consequences, creates pressure similar to championship sporting events, but with stakes that extend far beyond athletic competition. Family dynamics under legal pressure. The stress of federal cases involving multiple family members creates complex psychological dynamics, as defendants must process not only their own legal jeopardy, but also the potential betrayal by loved ones seeking to protect themselves. Father-son relationships facing federal prosecution involve protective instincts, guilt, disappointment, and love that can intensify under the extreme pressure of RICO cases with potential life sentences and family cooperation agreements. The psychological impact of watching a child testify against their parent includes elements of shock, disbelief, anger, and grief that can trigger severe emotional and physical responses in defendants who feel their family bonds dissolving. Family therapy experts note that the trauma of legal proceedings involving family member testimony against each other can create lasting psychological damage that affects all participants regardless of legal outcomes. The competitive aspects of legal strategy, where family members must choose between loyalty and self-preservation, create win-lose scenarios that mirror intense athletic competition, but with permanent life consequences. Medical emergencies in high-stress environments. Medical emergencies during high-stress situations are well-documented phenomena that occur when psychological pressure overwhelms individuals' physical capacity to cope with extreme circumstances and emotional trauma. Cardiovascular problems including heart attacks, strokes, and cardiac arrest can be triggered by intense stress, particularly in individuals who may have underlying health conditions that are exacerbated by extreme pressure situations. Federal courthouses maintain emergency medical protocols, including trained personnel, medical equipment, and coordination with local hospitals to respond quickly to health emergencies that might occur during emotionally intense proceedings. The age and lifestyle factors of high-profile defendants, combined with the stress of federal prosecution and potential family betrayal, can create conditions that increase risk for serious medical emergencies during court proceedings. Sports medicine research shows similar patterns in athletic competition, where extreme pressure situations can trigger health emergencies even in apparently healthy individuals when stress levels exceed their physiological capacity to cope. Courtroom drama and procedural responses. Federal courts have established procedures for managing medical emergencies during proceedings, including immediate medical response, adjournment of proceedings, and coordination with healthcare providers to ensure participant safety. The dramatic impact of medical emergencies during testimony can affect jury perceptions, media coverage, and overall case dynamics in ways that might influence legal strategies and outcomes for all parties involved. Judges must balance defendant health concerns with constitutional requirements for speedy trials and victim rights, creating complex decisions about how to proceed when medical issues interrupt legal proceedings. The emotional impact of witnessing medical emergencies during family testimony can affect other participants, including attorneys, court personnel, and family members who must continue participating in legal proceedings. Legal experts note that medical emergencies during high-profile cases often generate additional media attention and public sympathy that can complicate ongoing legal proceedings and affect public perception of cases. The competitive nature of federal prosecutions. Federal RICO prosecutions operate like championship competitions where prosecutors and defense teams compete using every available strategy and resource to achieve victory, with permanent consequences for all participants. The winner-take-all nature of federal cases, where defendants either achieve acquittal or face decades in prison, creates competitive intensity that exceeds most sporting events in terms of stakes and consequences. Strategic decisions about witness testimony, evidence presentation, and legal arguments require game planning and preparation that mirrors athletic competition, but with life-changing outcomes rather than trophies or recognition. The psychological preparation required for federal defendants to face potentially devastating testimony from family members involves mental toughness and emotional control similar to that required by elite athletes in crucial competitive moments. Coaching and support teams for defendants in federal cases include attorneys, mental health professionals, and family advisors, who function similarly to coaching staffs in preparing individuals for high-pressure performance situations. Media coverage of courtroom drama. High-profile federal cases generate media coverage that focuses on dramatic moments, emotional reactions, and family dynamics rather than legal technicalities or procedural aspects of criminal proceedings. The entertainment value of courtroom drama involving celebrity defendants and family conflicts creates content that attracts audiences interested in both legal proceedings and personal dynamics of high-profile individuals. Social media amplification of courtroom moments can create viral content that shapes public perception of cases and participants, potentially influencing ongoing proceedings and future legal outcomes. The competitive aspects of media coverage, where outlets compete for dramatic content and exclusive information, can intensify pressure on all participants in high-profile federal cases. Sports media coverage of dramatic moments in athletic competition provides a model for understanding how courtroom drama is packaged and presented to audiences seeking entertainment and emotional engagement. The business of high-profile legal cases. Federal cases involving entertainment industry figures create business opportunities for media outlets. legal analysts, and content creators who can monetize public interest in dramatic legal proceedings and celebrity downfall. The economic incentives for covering high-profile legal cases can influence how stories are presented, with emphasis on dramatic elements and emotional content that attracts audiences and generates revenue. Legal proceedings involving celebrity defendants often become entertainment products themselves, with audiences following cases like sporting events or reality television shows that provide ongoing drama and emotional investment. The competitive landscape of legal media coverage resembles sports broadcasting, where different outlets compete for audiences by providing analysis, predictions, and exclusive content about ongoing legal proceedings. Investment in high-profile legal case coverage includes specialized legal analysts, courtroom artists, and technical resources that rival the production values of major sporting event broadcasts. Health impacts of extreme legal pressure. Medical research on stress-related health problems shows that extreme psychological pressure can trigger serious physical health issues, including cardiovascular problems, particularly in individuals facing life-changing legal consequences. The combination of public humiliation, family betrayal, and potential loss of freedom creates stress levels that can overwhelm even physically healthy individuals and trigger medical emergencies during crucial legal proceedings. Age-related health factors, lifestyle choices, and underlying medical conditions can increase vulnerability to stress-related health problems during intense legal proceedings that involve family conflicts and potential life sentences. Medical professionals who work with individuals facing federal prosecution note that the sustained stress of lengthy legal proceedings can accumulate and eventually trigger serious health problems, even in defendants who initially appear physically stable. The parallel between extreme legal stress and athletic performance pressure provides insights into how high-stakes situations can affect physical health and performance in critical moments. Family cooperation and emotional trauma. The decision of family members to provide testimony against relatives creates emotional trauma that can trigger physical health problems in defendants who must witness the destruction of family relationships they valued. Federal cooperation by family members often involves detailed testimony about private family matters, business operations, and personal relationships that can be emotionally devastating for defendants to hear in public legal proceedings. The psychological impact of family betrayal, combined with the stress of facing potential life imprisonment, creates conditions that can overwhelm defendants' emotional and physical capacity to cope with ongoing legal proceedings. Mental health professionals note that the trauma of family testimony can be more devastating than other aspects of federal prosecution, because it attacks defendants' core identity and relationships that provided emotional support. The competitive dynamics of family cooperation, where some members choose self-preservation over loyalty, mirror the pressure situations in team sports, where individual and collective goals can conflict. Recovery and continuation of proceedings. Federal courts must balance defendant health concerns with legal requirements for timely proceedings, creating complex decisions about how to continue cases when medical emergencies interrupt testimony or other crucial legal proceedings. Medical clearance for defendants to continue participating in legal proceedings often requires evaluation by healthcare professionals who must assess both physical health and psychological capacity to handle ongoing stress. The impact of medical emergencies on legal strategy can affect both prosecution and defense approaches, as attorneys must adapt to changed circumstances while maintaining their advocacy for their clients' interests. Jury perceptions of defendants who experience medical emergencies during family testimony can influence case outcomes, creating additional strategic considerations for all legal teams involved in proceedings. The precedent of medical interruptions in high-profile federal cases often influences how similar situations are managed in future proceedings, involving family conflicts and extreme stress situations. Looking toward resolution. The resolution of medical emergencies during federal proceedings often requires coordination between healthcare providers, legal teams, and court officials to ensure that defendants can continue participating in their legal defense while protecting their health. The long-term health consequences of extreme legal stress may persist regardless of case outcomes, requiring defendants and their families to adapt to changed physical and emotional circumstances. The precedent established by handling medical emergencies during family testimony in high-profile cases will likely influence procedures for managing similar situations in future federal prosecutions. The broader implications include recognition that federal prosecution can create health risks that extend beyond legal consequences to affect defendants' physical well-being and family relationships permanently. The ultimate outcome depends on balancing legal requirements with health concerns, while ensuring that defendants receive fair proceedings, despite the extreme stress created by family conflicts and potential life sentences. If you're as shocked by the extreme pressure of high-profile legal cases as we are, go ahead and like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. How do you think defendants should handle the stress of family testimony against them? Do you believe medical emergencies during court proceedings should delay legal cases? We want to hear your perspective on managing extreme pressure in life-changing situations. Then, hit subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our coverage of high-pressure legal proceedings and their impact on everyone involved. Thanks for watching.